There are several components to personal financial planning in the succession planning realm. Personal wealth is one of them. Estate planning is one of them. And estate planning for you and me is different than estate planning for a high net worth business owner. It just is, most of our business owners and many business owners across the country are, because of the value of their business, they're what we call, the one percenters. They are in a high net worth arena. And little things in estate planning, like when I draft a will for me, or an attorney drafts a will for me, it's going to be very different from drafting a will or a trust on behalf of a high net worth business owner. Let me give you just one quick example of the difference. Okay, you set up this trust that's intended to take advantage of an estate tax exemption dollar amount. And when a business owner dies, under current law in the United States, you can do $12.9 million into that trust. Okay, that trust is intended to shield that money from estate taxes for the next generation and the generation following. Okay. And then what happens in a lot of cases is, around the country in smaller environments, you have general practitioners that are drafting documents, and they're used to drafting documents for the 99 percenters, not for the 1 percenters. And there could be one word in there that says in that trust that the income shall be paid out to the beneficiary. That word "shall" is a mandate. And so what you're doing then is taking, with that one word, you're taking money, income being produced by the 12.9 million, and pulling it out of a non-taxable environment back into the beneficiary's taxable estate. And so you're defeating the purpose of that trust by pulling money back into it. So simple things like that. That's just one little example of how it's different for succession planning and in a high net worth arena. For protecting the business, you have a complicated, typically a management intensive, capital intensive, risk intensive business that needs to keep running, and it needs to be smooth when it's running. And when you go through the death of an owner, you don't want that business tied up in the probate process, where you have to go be reporting to the probate judge and working through details, and it really bogs down just operation and management of the assets that are in existence. And so you want to do your best to avoid that probate process as much as possible. That's not as big of a deal for most people, but when a business and succession is involved, that can become a very big deal. Another aspect of financial planning for succession purposes involves credit. Most businesses rely on some form of debt in order to continue running their business. When I work for Coke or IBM or something like that, some big company, and I retire, I'm an employee and I retire, I can give them a 2-week notice and I'm done. There's no challenge to that. When you're the business owner and your business is dependent on debt, oftentimes, more often than not, that business owner is personally guaranteeing that debt. And so you've got to deal with that issue and make sure that you're doing what's necessary to build the creditworthiness of the next generation, and in some other way, relieve that business owner from personal guarantees of that debt, so that the business can continue to function smoothly no matter what happens.